Now we have also used the eligible for driving scenario in the previous lecture. For grading system, you can also try to use it. Like for online, let's suppose if we want to check the nested if, we will use a scenario like you are building an e-commerce system, let's suppose, where customer can get free shipping if they spend more than $100, and the member always get free shipping if their total price exceed $100. So this is the scenario. How you will do that? Firstly, you have to know the variables you need. I am telling you the way how you can write a code on the basis of the scenario. Now your scenario is, okay, I will write the scenario here and you will tell me which variables to use and how we are going to write this. So another scenario here. So this is the scenario. You can take time to read and then we will start writing the code. So the scenario is you are building an e-commerce application where the customer can get free shipping if they spend more than 100, and the member always get free shipping if their total price exceed $100. So this is the scenario and we have to write them. First of all, the first thing that you have to do is to understand how much variables are needed and the name of the variable. Now the scenario is for e-commerce system. First, you want the total price. Means what is the total price you want to set for the customer. So our first variable will be the total price. So let's suppose we will set 200. Then another value. Whether we have to check whether this customer is a member or not. So we now which data type is used. I told you that we learned different data types. That the Boolean is a data type that will return true or false on the basis of a condition. We want to check whether the customer is a member or not. So I will take a variable is member like this. And I will set it by default true. Means we will say that let's suppose the customer is the member. So now the condition is if it exceeds $100, then the shipping is free. So I will set a condition if the total price is greater than equal to 100. Then what you have to do? Have to print. You get free shipping. Else you will write that you are qualified for free shipping as a member. If it is a member. Now here we have to check whether the customer is a member or not. So if it is a member, then the shipping is free. Else the shipping is not. So instead of writing line by line, I will just write the complete code here. So now look, the total price is 120. We will check if the customer is the member. We take a Boolean variable. Boolean will return true or false on the basis of our condition. Then we will check for the total price. If then we come in the nested block. The total price is 100. The condition is true. The control will come inside the if block. Here it will check whether is the member or not. So here you will write just is member. For Boolean, we don't need to write the specific condition. We just write the name of the variable is true. So you will print you get free shipping as a member. If it is not the member, then you will say that you are qualified for free shipping. If the total price is not 100, it will not execute. Then it will print the shipping is not available. So if I said that the customer who is doing shopping is not a member, we'll set it to false. Then what will happen? So, spelling mistake. What will happen here? So you are qualified for free shipping only because, but not as a member. So if I set it to true, then it will print this. So any questions till now, let me know related to selection structure. Now the second type of structure we are going to study is the iteration. Now in Python, iteration structure are also known as loops. Maybe you have heard about this term loops if you have studied the programming language. So why we use loop as the name suggests, if we want a specific block to repeat multiple times until a specific condition is met, then we use this iteration structure. Python will provide you two main types of iteration structure. No doubt we have multiple, like we have for loop, while loop, do while loop, multiple are there. But the most widely used iteration structure are the for loop and the while. Now, the question is when we can use the for loop and when we will use the while. The for loop will iterate over a sequence, means using a range of. Now you don't know that, so you don't know when to stop. Means let's suppose I say, that repeat the condition until, okay, we will understand this with an example. So you can get a more better understanding. So let's suppose I say that repeat a number till 5. Then we will go with 4 because we know that until a specific condition is met, we will have to run it. But the while loop says that repeat a code as long as the specified condition remains true. So there is a bit difference. We will understand this with examples. So it's a bit confusing, but when we start writing the code, it will be clear. So I have to write text first. So we are going to study a iteration structure. Any one of you have any idea about programming before this subject? You have studied any other language? No idea. Okay, no problem. Then feel free to ask any question if it's your first time, because these are the most important basic concepts that will be applied in any programming language, whether it is Java, whether it's C++, C Sharp, you are going to use it. So first of all, we will study for loop. So we'll write another text. So the syntax for the for loop is you just have to write the for, then the variable, then the sequence. So let's suppose we have a list of fruits and I have to print the name of the fruits. So what will be the syntax for writing it? So first of all, we have to write a list. We will write- So this is our list. Now I want to iterate over this. So the syntax is first you have to write for, then a new variable you have to initialize that will iterate over this list. So for that, I will say fruit. Where you have to iterate, then you will write in. The list name, that is fruits. Then column. Then you have to print this. If I execute this code, it is generating the list of fruits. Now, let's understand this more clearly. So the syntax is first you will write the for, how it is going to iterate over it. This fruit is, you can take it as a point that is going to point each and every index in the list. So this fruit is the name of the list, this one. So this fruit will check for this, first print this apple, then go here, and then go here. So all the work is done by this fruit. Means whenever we use loops, we use a new variable that will point to the value that is in that list, or whether it is another array or any other data structure. So this fruit, now your question is why we didn't print fruits here? Well, the question is why I need a new variable? Why we don't use fruits here? Why we didn't print fruits here? Why a new variable here? We want to display the names one by one, not entire list at once. Like for example, if I want to print the whole list, then we don't need this for loop. Let's suppose if I remove this code, will only print fruit salad. Now see the difference. If I print fruits here, it is giving me the entire list with brackets, with quotations, with commas. But I don't want this. I want each fruit to be printed one by one in a line in a sequence. So if you want a specific operation to repeat over a specific period of time, then we go with the loops. Now, if I print this, then it is generating all the fruits one by one. So here, this new variable, this one, is pointing to each and every location in the fruits list. Like for example, when the loop is run for the first time, for fruit in fruit, the apple will be printed. Apple is printed. Now again the loop is run in the fruits, it search for another element. We have mangoes, it will print mango. Then it will run, the loop will run again, it search for another element, it prints the grapes. Then it will check whether there is another element left, whether there is any other item left. No, the loop will be terminated. So this is the basic working of for loop. Any question or confusion?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now we will use another example. Now let's suppose you want to print a number in a specific range. I say that print counting till 5 or 10 or 20. So with the range function. So range is a type of built-in function in Python that where we can specify our range and we can use according to our need. So with the range function, we will write another code. Let's suppose I will say for I a new variable. We haven't declared it here. In set range, you can set your range from 1 to 20. Print I. So let's see what is the output. See, it is printing the counting till 19. Now you will say, why 19? Why not 20? The indexes in array or in programming starts from 0. So that's why instead of 20, it is giving us 90. Okay. So this is the basic idea. Let's try a variation here. If I want the user to enter the number, this is the topic of discussion for next lecture where take, we will allow the user to give us input. So I said that n is equals to 40. Means according to n, you are going to print. So I will write n plus 1 so that it will print 40. See, now it is printing till 40. The reason is why, because I write the range should be n plus 1. Means if the n is 40, it should be 41. So if it is 41, then it is going to give me 40 here. Okay. So this is the working of for loop. We will also do some complex scenarios just after completing this basics. So you can also loop through a string. Means string is the collection of characters. So you can also do that. So we also do it for loop. So for string, I will write this for letters. You can change the variable according to your need. If you don't write letter, you can write alphabets. So it's your own choice that the variable you want to set in the room. So let's run this. So it is generating Python one by one. So this is the basic working of for. Then we have another type of loop that is nested for loop. Same as the nested if else, we have nested for loop. Like if I say I want to print two numbers, I and j. If I is 0, then j should also be 0 in a specific range. Means first it will go with the ith condition, means till 3. Then it will go towards the jth condition. Then it is going to print it. So as a small assignment, I will assign this task to you, how the nested for loop will be printed. Okay. So hope so you can do it. If not, then we will discuss it in the next lecture. So a small scenario I want to assign you, just try it if you can. If not, then no problem. I will help you to do that. So the scenario I want, you have to print the table of 12 using for. Okay. So this is your small task that you have to print the table of 12 using for loop. Now, this is, you have to use your mind how the table of 12. Don't use the AI tools to generate the code first. First, try to do it yourself. Because if you use the AI tool first, then your mind will not creative. You will not learn coding. The key to learn coding is to try yourself. If you try to write the code yourself, then you can easily grab the concepts, and these are the basic concepts that can be applied in any programming language. So first try it yourself. If you face any problem, then you can go with the alternative solution. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So hope so today's lecture is clear. In the upcoming lecture, we will study the while loop and some scenarios we will try, and how we can take input from the user. We will check that in the upcoming lecture. So